Good evening, everybody. So I'll be talking on what's new in refractive errors in children. It's nothing much new, as I am a public health person. So maybe you will get some kind of public health flavor in my presentation. I have no financial interest to disclose. And we start with myopia, which is alarmingly rising all over the world. And we know that high myopia is associated with significant ocular morbidity and visual disability. And it is predicted that 50% of the world population will be myope by 2050. So what is the reason? Genetic, it was there and it will be there. And what is new is the environmental factor. So our children are spending more time indoor, and that is the reason possibly they are deprived of sunlight, and sunlight exposure reduces myopia. That has been shown by some studies, some good studies, and they recommend that 11 hours daytime outdoor activities per week can be helpful. And so parents will be afraid that it should be 11 hours daytime per week, means roughly 2 hours per day. So for 2 hours per day, they should be in the bright sunshine. It's not necessarily. So even under the tree is fine. So, but they should be in the sun. So what's new in it? That we moved away from the nature, and now we realize that we should go back to the nature. And there can be a slogan, let's go out in the sun, because it has some more additional benefits for orthopedic health, mental health as well. And now comes the role of atropine, and the famous ATOM-1 study by Professor Donald Tan in Singapore. It started with 1% atropine among the Asian population. Then in ATOMS-2 study, they worked with the lower concentration of atropine. And almost by accident, they found that low dose atropine could reduce the progression of myopia by 50 to 60% with minimal side effects. That was really a good news. And now ATOM-3 results are awaited. And in this study, what is being studied is the preventive role of atropine. There are some pre-myopes, like the children who are at high risk of developing myopia because of family history and other factors, or the children who has already developed myopia and it's a low myope at this point of time. This is to evaluate the role of atropine in preventing the onset and controlling the progression of myopia. And overall, atropine is gaining acceptance as a measure for controlling progression of myopia. And the treatment options are age-old. Most children are doing well with spectacle and contact lenses. And when I was looking at the literature, there are certain studies saying that wearing spectacle affects the quality of life of the parents as well. So even just day before yesterday, I prescribed glass to a child and the mother started crying. So this is still remaining. And the contact lens and refractive surgeries are reserved for special situations. Of course, the older children are able to manage contact lens quite well. And spectacles, glass, of course, give the best optical quality, but breaks very easily. And because of its shatter risk and heaviness, the glass is no more recommended for children. Polycarbonate is good for that purpose, but optical quality is definitely not that good like glass, and CR39 is in between, and it is also widely used. And that recent studies about the spectacle compliance of children, it has shown that frame plays a important role. If the children are allowed to select their frames, and the spectacle compliance is much better. So that has been published in recent studies. And contact lenses, mostly reserved for unilateral aphakia and aphakia in small children, mostly silicon elastomer range, lens and RGP. There is not much of change. These two are still being used for children. And there are certain conditions where there is a place for refractive surgeries, like the children with neurobehavioral disorders and children with high refractive error leading to amblyopia, both anisometropia and isometropia. And the nystagmus, there is some place for refractive surgery. Although the young adults go for refractive surgery, there are certain conditions when the refractive surgery is considered. Both is a laser surgery as well as phakic intraocular lenses, and in some selective cases, lensectomy. They are the methods applied. And now coming to the mass screening of refractive error, now the photo screeners are gaining popularity, and photo screeners are going to be used in large scale in different screenings. So it's nothing but a camera using the flash of light, and it doesn't give the refractive error measurement, but it looks for the focusing problems, and that's how it picks up the children who could have some refractive error. And in addition, it can detect squint, and if any child fails the photo screening test, the child is subjected to further detailed examination. And these pictures are simply taken by the ordinary camera flash, and the girl is with hypermetropia with the reflex at the bottom, and the boy is having anisometropia, reflex in one eye, and there is no reflex in the other eye. And photo screeners are now incorporated with the artificial intelligence. So the results of photo screeners can be analyzed manually. At the same time, the interpretation can be done by this software incorporated. And it has certain advantage of picking up children quite young, even in the preverbal age. And photo screening usually takes little time, so it's a good tool for the mass screening. And the only thing that is needed, the child should look at the camera for a short period of time. And new photo screeners can even scan the nerve fiber layer and giving some clue to amblyopia. And especially this plus optics photorefractometer that has been shown to eliminate the need of cycloplegia in refractive errors in children. And now the new thing is not new concept, but this is being applied using the stereo acuity and near stereo acuity with the TNO to screen the children with refractive error and amblyopia, because the reduced stereo acuity is commonly found in association with reduced visual acuity or strabismus. So what is new in India? I would like to mention that recently India has completed a huge pediatric school screening program. It was the initiative of Orbis, and it happened in 15 states across the country, involving 11 hospitals. And what is nice about this program is it included compliance of spectacle, and there was follow-up refraction of the children. It is not an one-time effort, and results are yet to be published. And that way, this program has touched 5 million children in the country, and we have a database of 5 million children, and every children's data is there. And what we have experienced being a part of this project in West Bengal, we included some islands in Sundarban, and there we found the refractive error to be lowest, 2.7%. And as we move towards the Calcutta city, in the semi-urban areas, it was 6 to 7%, and in Kolkata metro, it was 14%. And that really justifies the theory of sunlight in the development of myopia. So this is, I was tempted to show this picture. This is the school boat for the children in Sundarban, how they go to the school. And sometimes we think about compliance. It is a very recently taken picture. So if we give comfortable, correct correction to the children, they are very compliant to use it.